So the threat system really trains us to think the worst case scenario about pain. And as a result, when we feel pain in the present moment, we think things like, oh no, this again, I can't handle it, it's going to get worse. And so really that worry about the future makes the pain in the present moment feel more threatening. And the threat system is really future oriented. I mean, we all kind of have experienced this. You have anxieties about the future, fears about the future. It's the threat system really is like kind of gloms on to the idea of the future. And so when the brain feels so much threat about the future, it sends out louder pain signals in the present. And if you remember this pain fear cycle, you can really see how that fear about the future makes the pain flare, then creates more threat system activation, more fear, and then more pain, and it just kind of cycles on and on. But as we've said before, letting your mind voice these fears can be important because trying to just, force them out of the way can just make them grow stronger. And writing about those threats will actually keep you from getting stuck in them. So when you give them their place, you can kind of separately provide a place for your hopes for a better future. So those two sides actually really don't need to be at odds. They can each have their place. So your threat system is trying to protect you, trying to warn you, to teach you about these risks. And, really underlying that is it's also sometimes teaching you a lot about your needs or your values or the things that are really on your plate. And so, just kind of trying to shove that away, as we've talked about, is going to make that threat grow and grow. So it's important to really give it its place, to face it. But then you don't have to stay there. Your hopeful mind, your calm mind, your joyous mind should also get a chance to thrive. So there's actually a lot of research that shows that hope and optimism and joy actually make your nervous system feel safer and lower pain. So in a review of 96 studies with over 30,000 participants, they found that hope and optimism were associated with lower pain. And then in another study, they actually induced optimism. They had participants think of their best possible self in the future. And then they put them in a pain task, and those people actually experienced less pain compared to those who were not told to think optimistically. And in a review of 71 studies, they showed that creating positive emotion actually reduces pain perception, and happiness increases the nervous system's ability to regulate pain. This is something called pain modulation. It means the nervous system's ability to downregulate pain. They've also shown that interventions that increase your ability to experience positive emotion actually decrease your pain. So one example is savoring meditations that basically teach people how to really increase the amount of positive emotion experience that they have, really savor positivity, that those have actually decreased pain for people with chronic illnesses. And some of those illnesses include chronic low back pain and also rheumatoid arthritis. And I think that rheumatoid arthritis study is really interesting because rheumatoid arthritis is actually a condition where there is ongoing damage to the body. It's an autoimmune condition, so a little different than our usual chronic pain conditions. And so it's really kind of amazing that even increasing positivity can even lower pain when there's ongoing damage to the body. There can still be that component of, the nervous system really deciding, behind the scenes, how much danger the body is in. And when you're feeling more positive emotion, when you're kind of leaning into hope or optimism or joy, it's really hard to still feel threatened the same way. It's really it turns off that threat response and really helps you feel more safety. And as a result, the brain will actually lower pain.